Today, let's talk about point of view journalism in these United States and really in the world. Uh, because point of view journalism is what the internet has helped us create. Um, the horizontal connectivity that we have, thanks to the internet, has made available to us um, biased news, if you will, about anything that we want to discover in our own deconstruction of life under the sun. So, uh, this issue of point of view journalism is critical for us to understand because what we are doing as users of point of view journalism is tickling our own ears. We're finding news and information that matters, we think, to us. And so the whole idea of professional journalism has been bypassed by the internet. And while I think that's really a good thing for culture overall, it can be a tripping point in terms of our understanding, our true understanding of life under the sun. So, how did point of view journalism get started? That's the question. And I hope to clarify that for you a little bit and help you see the dangers inherent in point of view journalism. So let's begin with a quote I've used before here from our old friend Edward Bernays, the author of the book Propaganda. In fact, the author of the concept of propaganda. Edward Bernays was one of the most influential people in the world. And most people don't know that. They are unaware of what controlled his thinking. So let me repeat a quote that I've used before from Edward Bernays about the idea of point of view journalism. He wrote in Propaganda, the conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Let me repeat that. The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. Pay attention to that invisible government concept. He goes on, we are governed, our minds are molded, our tastes formed, our ideas suggested largely by men we have never heard of. So propaganda is really the be all and end all of point of view journalism. The professional press used to be a unified mass with strict rules for professional conduct. And I've spoken earlier about the false hegemony of objectivity. So this group is, really suspect in terms of our examination of the events that take place around us. We have to be careful because we must realize that we are being manipulated, and nobody does this better today than Fox News. So 10 years before Fox News was even launched, 10 years before, those of us at CBN created right-wing news. And how we did it was really pretty remarkable and simple. We simply placed ourselves on the same line as all other journalism, only we moved ourselves to the right. we believed, or we proselytized, that the news lacked any conservative perspective. And therefore, it was necessary to create a media outlet specifically for that reason. And so we created CBN News. And CBN News is point of view journalism. And that's very, very important for you to remember. But this invisible government that Bernays spoke of is really what Ann Nelson was writing about in her incredible book, Shadow Network. In the Shadow Network, and Ann Nelson is an investigative reporter with world-class credentials, and I like her, I love her, and I trust her. We are friends, at least I think so. But Shadow Network is such an important book for you to read if you're curious about what's really going on around you politically. Because what you have here is a brilliant example of Edward Bernays' invisible government. The Shadow Network, which is an organization known as the Council for National Policy, a 501c3 tax-exempt organization, which means you and I are paying for it. The Council for National Policy has one mission and one mission only, and that is to promote conservative candidates for office in any way that they possibly can. And let me tell you, they have a ton of money, tax-exempt money that they use to do all sorts of nefarious things within our culture. And we let them get away with it. You know, if the IRS had any balls whatsoever, they would go after this organization because they take great liberties with the concept of freedom. And, you know, they especially take great liberties with the whole idea of 501c3 organizations by bastardizing the word education, which is one of the exemptions that you can get for 501c3. That education exemption is badly misused in America right now. And it has given us the entity known as Fox News. Fox News, again, came 10 years after we wrote the playbook that they use. CBN and CBN News, or the 700 Club News, or whatever you want to call it, we were trying to manipulate people on behalf of conservative ideology. And I think that's because Pat Robertson knew, my old boss, Pat Robertson, knew where the money was. And as I've said before, Pat Robertson was a politician first and a minister second. And that's evident about how he taught me how to raise money for CBN. So the viewers were asking, how does this help me? And therefore, it's a self-centered enterprise. And that's why I wrote the book, The Gospel of Self, because that's what we preached. It was all about how you can be better, how you can make more money, how you can take advantage of the so-called laws of the kingdom that Pat Robertson wrote a book about, to manipulate things around you to make things better for you. I mean, ideas such as manifestation have come out of this. You know, that the idea that you can manifest into reality things that you think about is absurd. It's absolutely crazy. And those who practice it are walking on very dangerous and thin ground. So, what do you do as a viewer? You must be aware that you are you are watching propaganda, not any attempt at objectivity or even the concept of fairness. There is nothing fair about an institution that proclaims it is providing a different kind of news. You know, come on, news is news, and you know, we all need to agree about what that is, and that does not include point of view journalism. So, in conclusion, I've thought an awful lot about this, and I know an awful lot about this because of my experience, but I'm just a garden variety human being. What do I know? I'm just a commentary.